Hi, I'm Danger Dan Jers, the host and GM of the D&D Real Play podcast, D&D Dark. Join us on Wednesdays for an absurd, over-the-top comedy horror adventure, starring some of history's most infamous monsters.
I'm Ben Magnet. I play Mary Frankenstein, our barbarian.
I am Daniel Cruz. I am playing Imhotep the Mummy, our cleric.
I'm Jordan, and I play Larry Talbot, a lycanthropic warlock.
I am Grayson, playing Jet Griffin, the Invisible Man, the party's rogue.
I am Aaron. I play the Phantom of the Opera, our bard.
For more information, go to dndarkpodcast.com and listen to us anywhere you find podcasts.
Hey everybody, this is Davis over at the CFG, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of Pop Culture Gems. This is a series where we talk to amazing creators, artists, cosplayers, voice actors, and so much more. If you like the interviews we do with these amazing guests, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the CFG channel, or you can go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, or listen to it on any podcast services that are out there. Today, I am with a wonderful voice actor who has been in the VO game for over 20 years. You have heard her in series while growing up as Sora from the anime Digimon, Ino Yamanaka and Konohamaru Sarutobi in Naruto, and Shippudden, Wasp in the Avengers animated TV show, and Chocho Akimichi in Boruto, Naruto The Next Generation. But you definitely will remember her as one of the most iconic video game sidekicks in the world, and is currently in the new movie Sonic 2, which is in theaters now. Tales from the Sonic series. I would like to welcome Colleen O'Shaughnessey to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, great. How are you?
I am doing great. I am really hyped to talk to you. It's really fortunate to talk to you.
Well, I'm super happy to be here.
All right, great deal. Let's just get this party started then. So I just wanting to know, I mean, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this question a lot in your whole career, but what is your story? Like, what made you want to become a voice actor?
That is a great question. So I was doing musical theater. I was at the University of Michigan, and I was doing 2 degrees. I was doing musical theater and psychology, and I was done with school. I did not want to. I was planning to go to grad school and be a music therapist, and so that just no, thank you. And I didn't want to go to New York and do theater. I grew up in Michigan. Chicago's really close. I was like, maybe that's an option. But then I was like, I don't really want to do that either. I just really didn't know what I was going to do. And I always just did voices. And one of my dance instructors heard me at the end of a class. I was talking to some of my classmates and doing something, who knows what I was doing. And she came running over and she said, "Was that you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. They just come out." And she goes, "No, you need to do voiceover." And that was the first time. I mean, I always watched The Wonderful World of Disney and The Muppets and Saturday morning cartoons. I was all about the cartoons. It just, I don't know why, but it never occurred to me that was somebody's job. And then I was like, oh, that is it for me. And so I did some research and blah, blah, blah. The place to be was LA. And so off I went to LA, and here I've been for 20 plus years. So yeah.
Wow. So so overall though, I mean, when someone gave you the hint of hey, voice acting might be the way to go, and it just sparked your interest, and you're like, okay, I'm all in. Yeah, let's see how this goes.
I was like, I'm going to California and I'm going to be the Little Mermaid, because I sang too. And I was like, oh, that's it. I want to be in a Disney movie. I want to be the next princess singing and doing the thing. And I mean, it wasn't overnight for sure. It was a long process of asking questions. And that's the thing. When you come and you don't know anything, you'll ask anybody anything. So that's what I did. I just picked brains of people. I took classes. I did things a little bit opposite. I put together a demo before I had taken some classes, and luckily it was okay. I had to switch things around a little bit, but I started targeting agents. I was trying to do everything though too. When I first moved here, I was trying to do commercials and on camera and a little dabbling in theater and stuff. And it was like system overload. So I had to decide if I really wanted to do voiceover, I had to just really focus on that. And so that's what I did. And, you know, my very first job was a reporter Barbie book. I was skipper. It's fun to be a reporter. It's fun to be a reporter. You like hit the little button. That was my very first paid job. And on the heels of that was The Kids from Room 402, which was my very first series. And while I was recording that is when I had my audition for Digimon, and off we were rolling. So,
wow, like it just seems like back in I didn't even really think of this. It just didn't even occur to me. But like, is there a difference between like, you know, when you're wanting to voice act for commercials to compare to television shows or anime or anything like that?
Well, it's you approach the material differently. You know, I mean, you can go and take I didn't take a commercial copy class, but the acting class I was taking, we would often do commercial copy, and it's very different because most of the time there isn't dialogue. Every once in a while there is, but most of the time you're just talking, and they want you to sound like you're talking to a friend about deodorant or whatever, you know, like, so they want it to be simple. They want it to be real. They, you know, they don't often want like that. I'm selling you Pepsi or what, you know, they don't want you to sound like that. They want you to sound like just a regular. So there is definitely a skill to that, you know, taking that copy and making it sound as real as possible while still selling a product. So it can be tricky, but you know, we worked on it in class, and I would, you know, it's so funny too that you bring that up, because I wanted to do animation. Like I was stubborn. I was like, I don't want to do commercials. I want to do, and when I was putting my demo together, everyone told me, you have to have a commercial demo. And I said, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I want to do animation. And they're like, well, that's great, but you got to have a commercial demo. No agent's going to take you without it. And so I begrudgingly put together a commercial demo, but I threw characters in there because I couldn't help myself. And funny enough, I've actually booked some commercials as little kids. And then eventually, as I started, I went, what was I thinking? Commercials are great. You're in for way less time and you get paid and it's great. And so if anyone out there is thinking, I don't want to do commercials, do them. You know, if you can do it, because it's, you know, nice work if you can get it.
Yeah, I think people were very, very kind of underestimate the power of what commercials are, because I don't know who I talked to someone that told me too that a really good place to be is commercials, because of it doesn't take it's not even half the time. It's not even like it's nowhere near as much as what you would spend on a series or a movie and whatever. But the amount of pay that you get is, depending on what the commercial can get, could be pretty.
If it's a radio spot, you're obviously going to get much less than if it were a TV spot. When you get a TV spot, woohoo! But as far as like, you know, how I approach it, you know, it's a very similar thing. Like all of your acting beats are there. You know, you have to, you know, who are you talking to? Where are you? What's the situation? You know, is it a more somber product where you have to be more serious? Is it, you know, more upbeat? You just, you know, you have to like feel it out and bring all your acting chops to that, as well as copy. You know, like if you've gotten a script from an animated series or an anime series or a video game or whatever it is, you know, they only give you a couple of pages. So you kind of have to create the whole scenario for yourself, so that it comes across, because all you have is your voice. So
no, it's really cool. Well, that's all. That's pretty awesome. But like, I mean, and you yourself, do you have any like hobbies or a personal fandom that you do away from the voice acting world?
We have lots of fandoms in my house. We love Marvel. We love Star Wars. My husband and I are total Trekkies too. We've been watching Voyager every night because it's now on, like, I forget what channel it is, but every night 11 Voyager's on. Next Generation was our favorite, but that one's on way too late, so we watch Voyager before we go to sleep.
You're like the second person that I've known that just recently has been watching Voyager, and then like the right
time, because you get into bed and you're like, watch a little something. It's on at 11, and
I'm growing to like Star Trek more, because like my girlfriend it's finally convinced me, because like we always get into an argument. It's like, who's the better captain? It's either Star Trek or Picard. And I always said, no, I like Cisco from Deep Space Nine. And then like she's like, oh no, but you need to check out Janeway. And I'm like, who's Janeway? So-
Janeway. Yeah. Yeah, we watched Deep Space Nine a little bit. We didn't get totally into that one as much. But yeah, Next Generation was our jam. And when I was a kid, my dad always watched old school Star Trek, so, Captain Kirk, he's my guy too. So, those are all my fandoms.
Have you checked out the new one, like Discovery, or the one, I don't know, it's on Paramount Plus or something, like the new show?
We saw one episode of the new one, and then I think that's when it transferred over, and I don't have Paramount Plus, so we haven't seen more of it. And we didn't see Picard either, because that ended up somewhere else. I don't know. Like, our TV watching gets a little interrupted by, kids and life and whatnot.
Real life.
Seriously, we're so behind on so many shows, but
oh, fair enough. A good deal. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're a Trekkie, though. So that's good. That's good. And like, I mean, you've done, like, in your whole career, and then I'm not going to ask, like, say, choose one, but, like, is there a character that you have played that best fits your personality, or what character fits your personality best, and why?
Wow. I think it would be somewhere in between Wasp and Jazz, maybe, because Jazz was that, older sister who was always looking out for Jazz from Danny Phantom, always looking out for her younger brother, and, kind of nurturing, a little bit bossy. I'm not saying I'm bossy, but I definitely have that mom thing in me. And then, Wasp has that spunk and the sarcasm, and I am extraordinarily sarcastic. So yeah, any part that I get to play that's got that little bit of snark is always my favorite. I like that funny.
It's like, okay, good deal. And I've been actually curious about this like for a while, and I feel you would be the perfect person to ask this because you've gone through it. But, like, is there the process of like voice acting on a show? Is the process of voice acting on shows that are, like, made here in the U.S. or Canada, here in North America itself, easier compared to, like, when you're doing anime dubbed versions in Japan?
So I don't know if easier is the right word. I mean, I guess kind of, in that there isn't all the technical side of everything. When you're doing anime, you've got the picture up on the screen and you've got your script. And so you're having to watch because it's already there, and you have to fit your line in what they call them flaps whenever the mouth is moving. And you have to fit your line in to what the character's already doing. Whereas with original animation, you can stutter, you can add little things here and there, like they call it pre-life, when you add something before you start talking, and efforts and things like that. In that sense, it's easier. It's just a different animal, it's a different skill set. You have to bring all those acting things, but then fit it into a certain amount of time because it's already made. They can't reanimate it. It's already done. So you have to, we always joked on Digimon, like a typical acting note is not act faster, but we always joked, like, because you got to fit it in, or there's a lot of rewriting on the spot that will happen because sometimes it's either overwritten or underwritten, and you have to, like, figure out a way to make it fit and make it work. And they try really hard. They do such a great job, the engineers and the directors and everybody, of making it look like now that character is speaking English as opposed to speaking Japanese or whatever language that it started. So in that case, and then when you're doing original animation, if you get to work with your castmates, that's a dream come true. That is the best thing ever. You don't always get to, but when you do, like when we worked on Sonic Boom or Danny Phantom, The Avengers, those kinds of shows, and you have a whole cast together and you get to work off of each other, that is just magical. It's so much fun.
Do they usually, like, I mean, I know because of the pandemic, things have totally changed, like, completely 180. But, like, but prior to that, the normal, like, it was very normal for, like, the whole crew, like, not the whole crew, but, the voice acting crew to be having a session together at once, or it was a very rare for individual. It was
the norm for a long time. It was interesting, though, right before the pandemic, it started to be where you would still get called in by yourself. I was on, trying to think what shows they were. Like, I worked on If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and they would bring everybody in individually. I worked on Doc McStuffus, same thing. They brought everybody in one at a time. I think maybe they had a couple of cast members together. I'm not sure, but I was like, why can't we do this together? Like I would see my friend coming out or and I was going in. I'm like, but don't leave. I want to do it with you. So it just depends on the production crew and how they want to do it. I think maybe sometimes they like to have one at a time. I'm not sure. I don't know why. I prefer everybody together, but what are you going to do?
I mean, I guess it's their own on that, but to me personally, like how it would be weird to be like, you're reacting to someone's like, quotes or from the script, and then it's like they're not there, but you're hearing them. But I don't know. I think I would like it old school for people to be there together. So hopefully this isn't the norm that where we're going right now. Yeah.
I know. Well, and things like Zoom and Skype and all those kinds of platforms have been helping, like you can still it's kind of like being together, sort of, but
yeah, it's still not the same though.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm assuming when you were doing Sonic 2, y'all were doing it separately, right? Like y'all did y'all sessions separately, correct?
But I did get to work with Ben twice, which was awesome. He was like, I think he was in Vancouver or somewhere, and I was here in Burbank, but we had Skype or Zoom or whatever we used, and it was great because we could actually work off of each other and there wasn't a huge delay. So we could have, like you and I are having a conversation over the computer. It was great. So we were able to work off each other. We only got to do it twice, but at least we had that, which was fantastic. So, and then the rest of the time, yeah.
That is true.
I didn't see Jeff Fowler, the director, in person until, the Family Day, I think, the big event we did on the Paramount lot. I didn't see anybody.
That is like the whole crew. Like James Marsden or any of them?
Not until Family Day. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
And how long was shooting? Like how long did it take to make the movie?
So they had started the live action stuff before I came into the picture. I think they started in like February or February, March or something of last year. I didn't start until almost the end of May-ish, something like that. And I only did like one, maybe two sessions. I don't know. I like at least 6 months worth of like one session here and there.
Yeah. Wow. So that would still be kind of weird to be like, you're finally seeing your coworkers for the first time in that long period of time. Oh, wow.
I'm like, yay, finally in person. That was great.
That's so good. That's so cool. And you started like in around 98, 99, right? Like before the 2000s? Like it's been a while. Yeah. From that. And like how it transitioned, like how it is nowadays. Like, I mean, like how much different is it now than what it was when you first initially started?
Well, everything's faster, and we're doing our auditions from home. We used to go in person and go into our agent's office to do auditions. And even before the pandemic, we were doing them from home because everything is faster now. Now with, internet speeds are so much faster and you can email things or Dropbox or get things to people faster. So, especially with commercials, they'll say, oh, we have a deadline of 9 o'clock the next morning, but you better get that sucker in as fast as you can because people start listening to them immediately, and then if they find the person that they want, then you might not even get listened to, at that point. So everything's faster for sure. It's whether or not that's better or worse. I mean, I do like being able to audition from home. It's great. And I have, like I said, I have been doing it pre-pandemic as well. But I miss, being in person. I met almost every person from my agency just by sitting in the lobby and chatting with them before, waiting to go in for an audition and then being in the studio and seeing people like, we're people and we would like to see people in person, but it is wonderful that we are able to have these things though, too. It's like this like double-edged sword, because we were one of the only people in the industry working, we were able to keep working, which was really great. I mean, it was great for me. It was great for my family. I had to scramble to make it work, but we made it work. So.
Right. Well, I mean, it seems like it's like I kind of feel how like I understand how it was back in the day, because I mean back in the day, if you imagine in the same situation that we were in now back in the day, like we would be depending on 56K connection like AOL, like American Online or anything like that for voice and stuff.
All would have had to get like ISDN lines or something or
something expensive at the time.
I don't know, but yeah, we would have had to do something major, and I don't know that we all would have been able to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like it's a little bit of a gray area. It's like a slippery slippery slope because like I totally agree with you that I feel the human element could possibly easily be missed when we are depending on technology as much as we are, because we had to because of the pandemic. But at the same time, it's like to say that if it's going to be this way, I don't know if I'm on board with that, because I think having a bit of like, if you have like, I mean, Colleen O'Shaughnessey, you as the voice actor, they know your work. So they'll be like, yeah, it's cool. But then if they actually physically met you while you're doing this, like, they'll be like, wow, we really like the cut of her jib, that kind of situation.
Yeah,
I think it would be like, it's an extra cherry on top of like, oh, we got the right person for this role,
So there is something to be said for, in-person interaction. I mean, they're on the other side of a glass, but at least they're there. You can see them. I don't know. Being on the other side of the screen is different than the glass. But, honestly, though, I'll take it if this is what we have because I love it so much. So
I'm not going to argue where the money's coming in. So you're totally right. You're totally right. And one of like as we've said before, like one of the first anime roles that you were in was Digimon itself. And like 20 years later, you reprised the same role in Digimon Tri. I mean, prior to, give a take, I know you've been involved in Digimon and other parts of the series, but Digimon tried to be back to your roots itself. But yeah, but how much growth between you as as a voice actor and Sora herself, like from the original series to Digimon Tri itself?
It's crazy because we both grew. I mean, Digimon literally was my very first anime, and it was total on-the-job training. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. I auditioned for that show having zero knowledge of how anime worked. I had no idea. I mean, I knew that it was already done, and then we were doing English, but I didn't know about the beeps in your headphones. I didn't know about all the efforts. I didn't know how to look at my, I was like trying to read my script and watch the picture at the same time. I felt like I was going crazy. I was exhausted after those sessions because my brain was like on triple speed trying to figure out how to do this. I was like, patting my head and rubbing my stomach, like trying to chew gum and do cartwheels. Like I couldn't, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And now, what was it? 15 years later, we started working on Tri, or 20, I don't know, a long time later. I've done a ton of anime, and now I can, do it in my sleep. Like I know how to do it now. That is a skill that I have acquired. And so like I've grown as an actor, I've grown as a dubber, I've grown as, as a person. I've had kids, like I've, had a lot of life experience in that time. And funny enough, so did Sora, she kind of grew up too. So we sort of like came back together in this, after we'd had experienced some things. And so it's kind of neat to come back to this character who had grown up as much as I had, it was kind of a fun little revisiting.
Yeah, well, they announced that they were bringing back the original cast, like the original crew of Digimon to it. Like, did you have was there any, like, what was your, like, did you have a reaction to like, oh wow, this is pretty cool? Like, what was your reaction when they first decided to do that?
Oh, I definitely had an, oh wow, pretty cool. I because sometimes they don't want the originals, or sometimes they do, and I mean, who knew I would ever get to play Sora again? But no, it was thrilling. I was so excited. I again wished I had seen my fellow castmates, but just knowing, and we've done some, we did a couple of conventions before the pandemic, and now we've done some virtual ones. So that's been nice too. But
oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
It's nice to revisit things, and it's that nostalgia. I mean, as much as the fans have the nostalgia from it, I've had so many people, they see Sora on my table if I'm at a convention or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, you were my childhood," and to connect with those fans again, and then they've got this new, path that these characters have taken. It's exciting for all of us. It's really fun.
That's cool. And as for like, Tails, the voice of Tails, you've been doing Tails since Sonic Boom, right? Which I believe was in 2014 or so, like mid 2010s. Okay, cool. And when you first revealed that when you were revealed in the ending credit bonus scene in the first Sonic film, like what was your reaction of that itself? Because
I was so excited. They called my agent. They're like, would she want to do this? Of course she would want to do this. But I didn't know that it was a credit scene. They called it a cameo or something, or that's how my agent told me about it. But I was like, of course. So I didn't find out it was a credit scene until I got there and started doing it. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Because that was when, every movie then has a credit scene. And I was like, oh, I'm a credit scene. This is so exciting. It was just really fun. I had no idea where it would lead, and even at that time I was like, who knows if they're going to do a second movie? And if they are, what are the chances that I'll get to do it? Because quite often voice actors get replaced by celebrities and, they already had a huge celebrity cast. But I was just so excited to get to do just that little snippet. And then when people would send me clips from their movie theaters exploding with excitement, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. It was just so exciting. So much fun.
I was actually surprised, like when I saw the ending credit, when I saw the posting, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And it's like, and then I wondered, like, did they get the original person who's playing the current person who's playing Tails as it, and then saw that it was you, and I was like, "Oh, wow, that's really good," because I thought when they hired Ben Schwartz as Sonic and stuff, I thought they were just going to do full recast, but it's like, did they ask for you directly on that, or what was the deal on that? I mean,
I think they did. I think they were sort of trying to wrap up everything with the movie because it was coming out in a few months, and I don't know for sure because I can't speak to what happens in production for anything, but I suspect that they didn't have time to have a whole audition process. And probably at that point, they didn't necessarily know if they were going to get to do a second one. And even if they were, what was going to be in that second one, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I think they just were like, hey, let's do a credit scene. I don't know though, for sure. I'm just happy they called.
I like to think of it as like saying, like, I don't think you're not giving yourself enough credit. I think they're like, oh no, we want Tails. Bring Colleen O'Shaughnessey to the set, quickly on it.
We can't possibly do it with anyone else.
Yes, it's like we can't work with anyone else except her. Exactly it that way.
Exactly.
All right, and I mean, and you're not a stranger of playing an animated role in the character on the TV as well as on the silver screen rendition of the same character, like Digimon the movie, I believe was same character. But like as a voice actor though, is there anything different about playing the motion picture version of the same characters you were playing on the TV or video game version?
That's a great question. I think with regard to Sonic, I think it's much more cinematic. It's a bigger scope, and with Sonic, you've got live action with animation together, and so to make that work, you have to. The performance is definitely more grounded. You want it to match. You want, even though these characters might be a little bit broad, it's still a very cinematic universe, as opposed to like Sonic Boom was so much fun. And not that the movie wasn't fun. I just, it's just a little bit different feeling. Like it's not as, it's certainly not cartoony. It's definitely much more grounded performance. But as far as the way that I approach Tails, he's still Tails. He's still who he is. Just different stakes, different circumstances. We're meeting him at a different place. He's at the beginning of a relationship with Sonic as opposed to an already established relationship. So those are a little bit differences there. It's a bigger scope. It's more dramatic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. And and so far, like throughout your career itself, do you have a dream role that you've always wanted to play, or is there something like it could be acting, voice acting, whatever? Like, there's something like where it's like this is something that like you knew you wanted to do voices, so there's obviously there was something set in mind that you wanted to do, but like, is there
the singing Disney princess?
Is there a particular
the singing Disney princess, the Irish Italian short Midwest singing princess? That's me.
I want to know what kind of story that would be.
I don't know. Maybe she has a cow. I don't know.
That would be a very interesting story. Like, it was but there's no specific princess at all, or like just
well, they've already been taken, so
that is true.
I'll be a new princess.
There's some specifically drawn. Okay, well, if Disney's listening to this, just let them know on it. That's cool.
And I sing.
Have you ever got a chance to sing in in any of the roles that you played in?
Yeah, lots of them, which is super fun. We actually got to sing as Tails in Sonic Boom. We did that band Duditude. So those were some of my favorite episodes. I often get to sing. Well, not as often as I would like, but any chance that they will let me sing, I'm there.
Just pitch a musical episode or something. That would be great.
Then I was like, because I watched his after party show, and I was like, "You can sing. We have to have a song together."
Oh, I've always wanted to that. Ben Schwartz looks like a really cool dude. So I mean,
he's so nice. He's so talented. He's so funny. Such a great guy.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. And also is there something that you wish that you knew now, throughout your now in your career, that would have been easier when you first started?
Something that I know now that I wish I had known then?
When you first started, yes.
Oh gosh. Probably so many things. I wish I knew what those beeps were in my headphones. I wish I had known that it was going to work out, so that maybe I wouldn't have had so much doubt in the beginning. I think I knew that it was going to be a blast, and it has been a blast. And if I could go back and say, yes, it's just the best job ever. I'm so lucky to get to do what I do, seriously. And I got to have kids along the way, and I didn't have to, I still had bedtime, and I was still the Girl Scout troop leader, and I still got to do all the things. So yeah, I think, maybe some more of the technical stuff I could have gone back and said, okay, by the way, you need to do this instead.
That is true. That's really cool. That's really cool. And Colleen O'Shaughnessey, thank you so much for geeking out with me today. It was really awesome to kind of pick your mind a little bit. Do you have a quick question though? Is there any upcoming events that you are going to that people can actually check, say hello, stop by, sign autographs, anything?
So I am going to Unlock the Con in Seattle, Washington. That is May 14th, 15th, whatever that weekend is. I will be in Seattle. I'm going to New Zealand in June. Very excited about that. Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
I have a bunch coming over the year. They haven't all been announced yet. So once those get announced, I'm going to put up a whole list of where I will be, because I'm all over the place coming up. So so follow my Twitter, follow my Instagram. I'll post it all there, and you'll know where to find me.
Awesome. Thank you. And guys, y'all need to also check out Sonic 2, dude. That movie is great. Today they've announced that it's the most the number one video game movie ever.
I heard it's amazing. It's such a good movie though. And I'm not saying that just because I'm in it. It really is a really good movie. It's got all the stuff. It's got action. It's got adventure. It's got friendship. It's got the hero doubting himself. It's got good versus evil. It's got all the stuff. It's got humor. It's hilarious. So. Oh yeah, definitely. No, most definitely. Yeah, but it was great. Hey, and once again, thank you so much, Colleen. Colleen, I really appreciate it. It was really fun talking to you. Guys, if you loved this interview with Colleen O'Shaughnessey, you could check out this one as well as many other on our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, or any podcast services that are currently out there. So once again, this is Davis signing out. Y'all take it easy.